Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. I picked up a laptop. Remember the Platinum mouse? That's what I bought the mouse for, this puppy. And this puppy was originally going to be for network gaming. Let me tell you the story though. So my usual guy I've been getting some computers from, Macs more specifically, and an iPad recently. He also picks up used PCs, and he got his hands on a Windows 98 laptop, and I thought, great, you know, and I could have had it for 30 bucks. Definitely needs a battery, but I asked him, you know, check out the keyboard and everything, make sure it's all perfect, because it has to, everything has to work flawless, you know. Battery I can always replace if I needed to, right? So anyhow, turns out the L key didn't work, and it's like, I'm never gonna find a keyboard for that thing. I was like, man, well, keep looking. So I decided to look further, even on Marketplace, and I can't find everything because, you know, a lot of you Apple people, you gotta wake up here, okay? These older machines aren't worth much. I mean, seriously, they're old, they're obsolete. Well, this one at least is still running Catalina, so it's not completely obsoleted yet, but it's still a 9-year-old computer. They depreciate. They don't hold their value that well, especially considering, I mean, this is Catalina. Yeah, it may still be current, so it does retain a little bit of value, but it can't run Big Sur, and it definitely can't run Monterey cheddar cheese operating system that Apple's about to release. Okay, now I've nicknamed it that because I don't even know how they're pronouncing Monterey, whatever, so let's just call it cheddar cheese. So in the meantime, it is a new OS, which means Catalina is going to be gone. But we're not sure if it's going to be gone at the end of this year or mid-summer of 2020 or 2022, like I heard on another post. There's so much confusion around this. But you know what? I don't care if it is an operating system that can go on the net or not. I'm just using these for in-house networking, not on the internet with my buddy. And we're playing PC games right now. But we also have Macs, and this is going to serve both purposes. Because I can run Windows 10 on this, okay? If I drop the OS back down to Mavericks, I can actually run Windows 7 on it, or XP, I believe. But under Catalina, the only operating system you can run minimum from Windows is Windows 10. Now, we may be able to run Windows 11. I guess we'll have to wait till 11 comes out, and I'll see if I can update this to 11. But I am going to put Windows 10 on it when I get around to it. But this is not going to be the new network gaming machine that I bought it for, because I was having hassles with my buddy's Windows 10 USB stick when I was at his house the other night. Is like, you know, let's just get the Mac set up. I'll do it before I come over. So I was doing this in the car. You know, I was using my phone as a hotspot to go on the internet, reload the OS and all this. We go to put the Windows 10 stick in this thing to get Windows 10 on it, and it crapped out, and there was an error. And it's like, oh, no way, we're not going to get to play games tonight. And I didn't even think about bringing the Windows 10 stick with me. So it's kind of like, I had Windows 7. But it turns out that when you're on Catalina, you cannot go below Windows 10. So that would mean putting Mavericks on it, and I could do XP, or I should be able to do higher up and go to Windows 7, but we're not sure. I've never actually tried to go higher up from the minimum, so I don't know if it actually works or not. I've got to try that someday. But anyways, so I finished loading all my Mac software on this, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to set this thing up as my new GarageBand machine. And I'll still probably put Windows 10 on it just because I can, and it'd be kind of fun. So, this is, like I said, mid-2012, 2.5 gigahertz dual core, 8 gigs of RAM, 500 gig mechanical, 5200 RPM SATA drive, so I can put an SSD in it, and I can max this out to 16 gigs of RAM without a problem. Does have the Super Drive DVD burner built in. Everything works perfect. There's not a flaw on this. In fact, I even checked the battery capacity health with a program that does that, and it's 100%. It's only had about 200 and some cycles on the battery. So it's like, wow. Now that has been a fairly recently changed battery in a 9-year-old machine. Or, yeah, pretty close to 9, I guess. Yeah, 2021. It's about 9 years old. So, going on 10. But anyways, it works absolutely flawless. And, you know, other than it's got a little tiny ding here, it's got a little tiny ding here, And I think somewhere in the house is my missing footy, because I know all 4 footies were on there, so I'm going to have to get my wife to help me find that footy. But I paid $2.99. I paid their money. Even though I told you guys before I didn't think it was worth it, but we had to check it first. It runs Catalina natively. So I guess it's worth the $300 in that aspect. I would have been feeling better paying around $250-ish. Now they do still have the other MacBook there that's a 2010. It is running a legit OS. It's running, I believe, High Sierra on it, if I remember right. Let me see if I can actually do a fast check for you guys, if my net's going to cooperate. It's 2010 MacBook Pro 13-inch specs. And we'll see what it comes up with. Come on. Now, it'll be like a 2.4 gigahertz kind of deal. Its operating system max is going to be 10.1.3. So I believe that should be High Sierra. Yes, it is. And that is exactly the OS that's on there. So we were a little concerned as to whether or not these things had legit OSs in them or not. This one's Catalina. It is legit Catalina, so fully supported by Apple even currently. That does help retain a bit of the value of it, and the fact that other than a couple of tiny little dings, which are nothing, they don't interfere with the operation of the computer, it's great. So I have no issues with this computer whatsoever. And the $300, I really didn't want to pay it, but I thought, well, I'd rather have the 17-inch MacBook 2009, even though it can only run El Capitan, which is fine. It's not on the internet. I'd rather have it for GarageBand than this. But then on the other side of the fence, this didn't work out for me that night, so I decided to put Windows 7, because Windows 7 won't work on this because of Catalina. It's only 10 only, or I guess above. I put Windows 7 on my MacBook Pro 2009, which you'll see in the next video, because we're going to do a PC basically slam video. PC people are going to hate me, but I don't care. I run both sides in this house. I'm not a snob of PCs. I need to prove a point on something, and the Mac is going to help me do that. But anyways, I've got Windows 7 on my 2009, and I'm running the Dungeon Lords game. It's working absolutely flawless, no problem. And I fixed the bug, which turned out to be wrong titling of my save file. I don't know why. I mean, what's wrong with going with a default save, you know, for the title? But apparently it doesn't like it on Windows 10. It doesn't particularly care for it on Windows 7 either. So you actually have to give your save game on Dungeon Lords an actual name. Can be anything, just not what it comes up with. And then it doesn't glitch out even on my Ryzen 7 Windows 10 system, so hey, whatever, we know we can do it now. So the game actually does work from Windows 98 all the way up to Windows 10, even though, I mean, it doesn't even talk about 7 or Vista, so hey, but it works on 10, so what the heck. They have a new version of Dungeon Lords out too, where the graphics are so nice. And I so want to get my hands on a copy of that. He does have it, but he purchased it, so it's kind of like, it's like, hook me up, dude, where do I buy this? I want those graphics, especially on my Mac. But Macs can run Windows, and they can run Mac OS, among other operating systems we can run. So there's really no limitations when you own a Mac what you can do in comparison to just a PC. A PC can run Windows. Yes, you can Hackintosh a PC, but then you're running just the Mac OS. You're not running both, right, the way we can. But you're also not running a supported operating system on a Hackintosh, so guess what? Yanked. I can run fully supported versions of Windows that are legit, as well as the Mac OS legit. So now we can run unsupported Mac OSs on a lot of older Macs, but you're definitely unsupported at that point, and no security of any kind from Apple either, so just make aware of that. But anyways, So this thing, as far as features goes, we do have a Thunderbolt port, or display port. It's like Thunderbolt 1, I guess they called it. We do have a FireWire port. I believe this is the 800 if I remember correctly. Ethernet, of course, we do have MagSafe. For charge, we have 2 USB regular ports here as well as a card reader, headphone jack, a little button here to check your battery charge level, and of course we have our Apple SuperDrive CD DVD burner, and that's pretty much about it. Other than that, my charger is in the other room for this. So, but yeah, great laptop, plenty of horsepower for a dual core 2.5. This thing is just fantastic. Even with 8 gigs of RAM with Catalina, works great. Though I am going to put an SSD drive in this, and I'm going to max out the RAM, because this is going to be my GarageBand computer, among other things I'm going to use this for, and I'm likely still going to put 10 on it. It's just that his Windows 10 stick errored out on us, so we couldn't do anything that night. So I thought, well, you know what, I do kind of like a bigger screen anyway, so why not just put Windows 7, because I know I can go up to Windows 7 on my other MacBook, and then this way I can still do my Mac stuff on there that I want to do, especially when we do Mac gaming, and then I can still do the Windows 7 on here and do all our PC gaming that we're going to do on PC games, because we're playing more of the nostalgic stuff that we like, you know, for PC and Mac. So I mean, that's what we're doing. So we don't need, you know, super high performance machines for this, but they work great, so that's fantastic. So I'm really loving this laptop. I would recommend that if you are looking at something like this, even online on Marketplace, people are still asking like $500, $600, $700, $800 even for this exact laptop. They're full of, I don't know what, but they're on something too at the same time, because $300, even though I still feel a little etchy about paying $300, I did get my money's worth out of it, because it is in great shape. There's nothing wrong with it, and it has a battery on that's only got 200 cycles on it, and it's still holding a capability of 100% charge capacity. So you're getting full actual spec runtime out of this thing. Okay, now I don't use power saving features, so I'm going to chew the battery up a lot faster, because I hate power saving features. But either way, fantastic little machine. I really like it, you know. My first MacBook Pro was actually one my father gave me a couple years ago, but that thing had like a hacked in High Sierra, and it was nothing compared to these, and his was a 17-inch too, and of course I have a 17-inch again, a little newer than the one he gave me, but still, I mean, they're great. And so now I can network game with my buddy. I just need to bring a laptop. In this case, I'll be bringing my 17-inch 2009. This one will now stay and do its job here at the house. It would have been nice to do the gaming on this, but you know, it's the way it goes. I bought it for a purpose, and I'm repurposing it for the GarageBand machine, and I'll use the 17-inch for my gaming. So anyways, but they are great. $300 at a pawn shop. If there is absolutely nothing wrong other than, you know, I've got a little teeny ding here and a little teeny ding on the side. That's nothing, and it does not interfere for anything. But if it's kind of like in that kind of shape, or, you know, pristine condition, then yeah, I'd say as long as the battery capacity is actually at 100%, then I would say great. But you're going to have to sign in with your Apple ID to get the program off of the App Store for the battery tester, okay? Because there's the hawk shops have no other method of testing battery capacity. You know, it's not like they take these things apart and service them either. So that's just the nature of hawk shops. They take it in, it works, they're like, okay, fine, what's it worth, blah, 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 and then they give you so much, and then they sell it for so much. But if you want to know the capacity of the battery of the Mac on the laptop or even an iPad, you have to be able to sign in with an Apple ID, go to the App Store, and look up battery capacity program or battery capacity app, and there's a number of them that will work just fine even on the laptop to tell you what kind of condition this battery is in, because that makes a difference on price. Now, I still got a 30-day warranty from the Hawk Shop on this in North Bay, but it only covers the hardware. It does not cover the battery. So if anything goes wrong with the battery, you're on your own. And I said, fine. You know, because when we checked this out on the shelf, the battery was flatlined, and that was a real bad red flag for me. That could have gotten me a discount had it not taken a charge. Because, you know, 65 bucks out of my pocket for a battery, that's coming off the price of the laptop. Okay? So that's a given. And that's exactly what it costs for the battery for this, is $65 on Amazon's website. So the other one that they had there was a 2010. It goes as high as High Sierra. It does have a backed CD-ROM in it. I still may try and get it, but I'm going to have to talk to the owner about it, because that CD-ROM is not going to be cheap to buy, and even though I can put it in myself, it's still labor intensive. And my point across is, when you take something like this to an Apple technician, you are going to be paying a really good buck to have the labor and the part involved in order for them to do it, and that is definitely going to cost you more money than what that 2010 laptop is worth. Even with me doing it at my cheaper rates for somebody, because I'm back in, by the way, to fixing Mac and PC computers. So if you are in North Bay, Powassan, Sturgeon Falls, Trout Creek, you know, Sunridge, South River area, you know, this kind of a jurisdictional area, and you want to bring your Mac or PC into me, my rates are way cheaper than the regular guys, because it's more of a hobby for me. So I'm not charging the same rates, and I make no money on parts. I'm just making on labor, and my work is guaranteed, so don't worry about that. And I do have tons of experience as a tech. I was certified Apple Tech since 1990 and PC since 1993, and I've been an electronics tech since I was literally 9 years old, 8-9 years old. So yeah, you have no worries. Plus I've owned computer stores in the past too, so I've got a pretty good rep. Anyways, actually I have an outstanding rep, but that's beside the point. So if you're looking for one of these things, yeah, $300 is a good price as long as there's nothing wrong with it. But I think $250 is a better price, to be honest, because it is Catalina. It's about to go extinct either at the end of this year, or from the word on the internet says, you know, summer 2022 they'll cut off Catalina. We're not sure. Okay, we're not 100% sure. It depends on what Monterey Cheddar Cheese OS does, along with Big Sur. Because once the new OS comes out, they'll start slowly petering off Big Sur. So I don't know 100% what's happening with Catalina, but I will say this: as long as Catalina is supported, you will have your OS security on the internet, no problem, and you'll be supported by Apple. So that's not a big deal. But be aware of one other thing too, which I'm going to say once again. In now under 2 years time period, all Intel based processor Macintosh computers, all of them, will be cut off 100% from any kind of support whatsoever from Apple. So keep that in mind. So if you're looking for parts at that point, probably going to have to be looking at eBay and wherever else you can scrounge parts from older Macs, etc., etc. You know, so as long as we can get parts somewhere, we can keep the dogs running. As far as internet goes, well, once the OS is no longer supported, you better get off the internet, because you're at a what I like to call the hacker's dream at that point, when you're running an unsupported operating system. So anyways, that's it. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do stay tuned for more. You will see this laptop probably being used in other future videos, etc., etc. Stay tuned for the next video. It is definitely going to cheese off a lot of PC people out there, but what do I care? I'm a PC person too. I do both, but I also want to prove a point to the PC world, not just that Macs can not only run Windows, but we can run the games, and we have far superior graphics running the exact same game. And I'm going to put my 2009 MacBook Pro with a 17-inch screen against my Ryzen 7 system, which is an 8-core bad boy, okay, with 4 gig main video card that is sharing an extra 8 gigs for a total of 12 gigs of video capability on a 2K display that is going to be eaten for breakfast by my little 2009 MacBook. Stay tuned.